All right, so you guys were asking about the difference between the polygon and the ogive. The frequency polygon is handy, but the ogive actually tells us a lot more. You can make estimates now. An ogive is not going to be exact when you read things off the ogive because it is just a line, but you're able to make estimates on things such as the medians and the quartiles and the deciles. You guys know what a decile is? What's a quartile? Yeah, it's a quarter. What's a decile? Yeah, it does sound like 10. Yep, it's a tenth. You're right. You can also read off at percentiles, which is each percent. You got to remember the quartiles are actually percentiles as well. They're at 25%, 50%, and 75%. And if you think about it, the 50% mark is also the fifth decile because it's 5 tenths. Okay, so they all relate to each other. All right. It's hard. I go to cough and I have to find the bloody microphone so I can cover it. All right. Okay. So what we're going to do in this worked example is we're actually going to create a cumulative frequency histogram. So we need to have a cumulative frequency one this time, and then we can create the ogive from that. So they've already given us the volume. They've given us the classes. So we've just got to copy the classes in there. They've given us the frequency, but what we don't have is the class center and the cumulative frequency. So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that. So the data's already there. From that, you just have to copy it into the bottom table, then work out what the class center is for each one and the cumulative frequency as we go. I'll give you 2 minutes. All right, so you should have the class centers and the cumulative frequency. Can someone give me the class centers just going down the list? It's gone up by 0.5s. But you should have already finished doing that anyway. That was the point of the 2 minutes. Cumulative frequency? 15, 27. Yep. 37. Yep. 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 Excellent. So we've now got our table. That's our cumulative frequency table. We have our class centers. We have our cumulative frequency. Now in the previous one, the histogram, we used the frequency for our vertical axis. In the cumulative frequency histogram, we actually use the cumulative frequency, not just the frequency, funnily enough. So over here, we already have a graph drawn and prepared for you. Now this is different. Now what they've done, sorry mate? Okay, what we've done is we've got the axes there where we've got the cumulative frequency going up the vertical axis, and we have the volume, we have the class centers of the volume already on the horizontal axis. Now, unlike the histogram, this time you don't leave a gap. You want to be snug up against the left-hand column. Okay? Let's do this. So what's our first cumulative frequency? 15. Okay, next. No, cumulative frequency. Yeah, we're always going up on this one. 37. Sorry, what was the next one? 47.
Oh, you missed one right there. 37. Wait, actually, 15.
Yeah.
27.
Yeah.
37.
Yeah.
45.
Did I? I missed it. That's what I thought. I don't blame me. 45. 47. And then 50. Cool. Okay. Now it. Yes. Now this is a cumulative frequency, so it's always going to go up. Now we draw the ogive. Where do we start it?
At the right corner. Yeah.
There? And then go where?
You start at 0.
Ah. Then where? You do have to use a ruler. Because I'm on an electronic whiteboard, and if I try and use a ruler, it'll get cranky at me. All right. Now, the reason they drew the percentage up there as well is it makes it a lot easier to actually work out what your percentile or your decile or your quartiles are. All they did was they went from the lowest to the highest and went 0 to 100, and then divided that interval into 10, and that gave them their deciles. So, upper quartile, what percentile is that? Yep, what percentile would that be? Upper quartile. Upper quartile is your 75th percentile. Lower quartile is your? Yeah. Cool. I will slow down a little. All right, so we've now got our cumulative frequency histogram and we have our ogive. We can now use them. We can now use them to find the percentiles and to find the deciles and to find your quartiles. So we're looking for the upper and lower quartile. So, Levi, what did you get for your upper quartile, mate? Upper quartile. I didn't. Yeah. It comes to about there, which is about 1.6. I'll play that. Yeah, okay. And what did you get for your lower quartile? Sorry? You got 1.4 or 0.4? Yeah, okay. Now, you better listen to this because I'm going to explain how the ogive works, how you find stuff. Otherwise, you're all going to be sitting there going, but how? All right, when you actually use the ogive, okay, what you do is you go up to the percentile you want. In this case, we want the 75th. Now, I'm not going in between 35 and 40 necessarily. I might be. What's up? I just deleted it. Sorry? No, you need it. I'm just about to redraw it. Okay. But you go up to the 75th percentile because that's the one I'm looking for, and you draw a straight line across. And you draw that straight line across until you hit the ogive, wherever it hits the ogive. You then come straight down. Okay. Now that straight line comes down and hits your axis. Now, if you've done your axis properly, you should have it to scale. You should be able to read it pretty accurately. Mine's obviously not that crash hot, but I can tell you that that red line, which is in between 1.25 and 1.75, is 1.5. Does that make sense? Well, that's 1.25, and that line's 1.75. What's halfway between them? So that's 1.5 right there. This would be 2. This would be 2.5. That would be 3. Back here would be 1, and that would be 0.5. Make sense? Okay, so no. So what I've got here is my green line has come down in between the 1.5 and the 1.75. So you know it's somewhere in between 1.5 and 1.75. Now we're estimating. If you've drawn it to scale, your estimation could be pretty accurate, but we're estimating, we're saying it's about 1.6. Everyone happy with that? Everyone happy with the method? Yeah? Cool. All right. Then we find the interquartile range, which is pretty easy. You should be able to do that in your sleep, though why you'd want to do it in your sleep, I'll never know. Now, you'll notice, though, They don't use an equal sign. Yeah. It's an approximately equal to. Okay. You're using an O guy if it's not exact. Okay. But more